Are you struggling with your supply chain management? You are not receiving goods on time, or you have ordered and you forgot what you have ordered or received partial orders. So ERPNext is the solution for your organization. With ERPNext, the procurement module, or it's called even the buying module, helps you to track your suppliers from the time of requesting material till you fulfill the orders and you receive the orders in your warehouses. Managing different suppliers, managing different supplier prices, and even scoreboards of your supplier, and knowing your supplier's performance. With the analytical reports as well, analysis on purchase orders, analysis on your delivery notes, and many other reports you can achieve in supply chain management in ERPNext. Kindly follow the whole video to know how the procurement cycle is managed in ERPNext. Hello everyone, and this is Quresh with you from Aqiq Solutions. So today we are going to cover for you the procurement module, or it's also called supply chain. In ERPNext it's known as buying module. So in this module we are going to cover the whole procurement cycle and the different features that the ERPNext provides, and how it's really beneficial for any organizations to streamline their whole supply chain, starting from a demand created from the market, or a demand created from a warehouse when it reaches reorder levels, and then the whole procurement cycle till the receipts of the goods in the warehouse and then dispatching them. So let's dive into the ERPNext. So here now we are logging in and we go directly to the buying module, which is it's known as buying module in ERPNext. Okay, this is the buying module, and the other modules we have already covered in different videos. You will find them on our YouTube channel, so you can go through them. And there is also one video in which we have explained the features and the layout of ERPNext, so you can also go through them to understand all the features. And once you have gone through that video, then you can check the buying module, so you can connect things together. So once we come to the buying module, over here you will find all the options and the features related to the buying module are listed here. Okay, so like buying is you buy products or services, so all of them are listed here in the item list. Okay, and then it gives you a count of, like, I have pending material requests over here, like 11. I have 13 purchase orders which I have done to my suppliers. I'm yet to receive. I have not yet received. Okay, so let's come now to the workflow of the buying module. So when we talk about the workflow of buying module, over here you will find the workflow in ERPNext is really good, and it covers from small to medium to large enterprises. Now it depends how you want to custom make the workflow to suit your organization. Okay, so you can go the whole full cycle. Example, starting from a material request. When we talk about material request is basically generated or auto-generated. Okay, so if it is manually generated inside the system, it's generated by the warehouse or by the department which is requesting for the material, and the type of the request will be purchase. So immediately the procurement come to know, okay, there has been a request for the material of type purchase, means now we need to procure. Okay, so once a request is generated, the procurement departments now they will go through the request and then take it to the suppliers, and they will send the request for quotation to the suppliers. Suppliers will supply them with the quotation, so we'll enter the supplier quotations over here, or with an auto-generated link to the suppliers, they can enter it directly into the system using a supplier portal. Then once we receive the quotations from the supplier, the ERPNext has a very good tool called supplier quotation comparison, where we are going to compare the different supplier quotations and decide we are going with which supplier. Now remember, when we compare, ERPNext gives you a good comparison and it shows you the least price, but not necessarily all organizations they go with the least price. Sometimes it's based on quality, sometimes it's based on the lead time to supply those materials, but ERPNext gives you the one which is least in price, and then a person can decide, or the procurement officer can decide which supplier I should give the LPO to. So once I've decided, we'll raise an LPO. Once LPO is done, it goes to the supplier, and then the supplier, once they supply the goods, they will make a goods receipt note, and then the finance department will book the invoice. Okay, so this is in nutshell basically the cycle of the procurement. Now in some organizations they will come and say, fine, I already have few suppliers, I already have contracts with them, I just have to send them an LPO and they supply me the goods. Fine, if you use that pathway, it's fine. Again, the system allows you, you don't have to raise a material request, then you go for supplier request for quotations, supplier quotations. No, directly just raise an LPO and then you receive the goods. So depending on each and every organization, okay, this workflow can be customized and adapted. In this video we are showing the whole workflow, okay, so that you you have an idea of how the whole workflow works. So we'll start with the material request. So I come here and a material request is raised. If this material request which I'm raising is auto-generated, and why it's auto-generated, if we set up reorder levels, let me go to the item master here and show you. Okay, if I have any item here, okay, and in the inventory I'm here defining a reorder level, okay, then what will happen if it reaches a reorder level, then automatically a material request of that purchase will be raised inside the system, okay, which is really good. So I don't have to remember as a warehouse guy or a business owner the items I need to reorder once I run out from stock. So this is a very good feature to alert the management or the procurement department that we have reached a reorder level. Let's say this item, industrial gloves, when it reaches 100 gloves, I need to make a reorder of 500 gloves because it's a fast moving item. So it will raise for me a purchase or a material request of that purchase for the 500 pieces. Okay, so back to my buying module. Okay, and here now let's say we start from a material request. So there will be a material request, and the material requests are of different types, okay, which has been covered in the stock module. We are taking the purchase types because we are now explaining the procurement department, the procurement module, sorry. And then let's say I need it by today or by tomorrow, any day. Okay, I'll come here and I will say which item do I need. So let's say I need the industrial gloves, okay, and the quantity required are 500 pieces. If I set the warehouse here, like for which warehouse do I need it, let's say for my finished goods warehouse, then also if I have quantity, it will show me here what's the available quantity. Okay, so before I make a request, it can also check. Okay, even this red line over here, you see this red dot means I don't have quantity, so it gives you an indication. And then I need let's say steel bars, maybe 3 mm steel bars. Okay, let's say I need 200 steel bars, and that's it. I raise my material request. Okay, I save and submit. So once I submit this document, you see here the status is pending. Okay, it's pending, and now it will alert. If I have a workflow, it will alert my procurement department that has been a request raised and I have to act upon it. Okay, now me as a department or as a warehouse person who have raised this material request, I don't have to pick the phone and always, follow up what's happening. This status will show me what is happening, because here you will see there are many statuses, like you have pending, you have received, means this material was requested for, we have already received it. So the procurement department have already worked on it and they have received it. Okay, Sometimes we receive partial. Okay, I give a purchase order of 500 items, but the supplier is supplying me in partially. So as I receive partially, it will show me here in a status it has been received partially. And I can also over here, if I want to filter, I can filter either from the status here, or I can also filter by clicking on the status. Like I want to see all the pending material requests, so if I click it, it will directly go and filter for me those which are pending. Okay, if I want to remove the filter, I'll just click on this X and it will remove the filter. So now we have a material request over here of 2 items. Okay, so one item is the surgical glove, industrial gloves, sorry, and the second item is my steel bars. Okay, now this has gone to the procurement department, and now the procurement department are going to basically request for quotation from different suppliers. Okay, so we have a request for quotation here, or you can also search from here. If you type here on this search bar request for quotation, you see directly you can access from here instead of navigating and going through the menu. So I come here, I add a request for quotation. Say I need this quotation by tomorrow. Okay, and I will list my suppliers. So let's say I need from hardware world, I need request. I can, if I have the email defined for hardware world in my supplier list, then directly the email will appear over here. Okay, how to define suppliers also we have covered it in a video where we have explained all the masters inside the system and how to define them. Okay, here we will say info at, okay, just a dummy email, and then if I say send email, if I click here send email, we can send email to all those suppliers. So the beauty here, I don't have to raise a separate request for quotation for all the suppliers. I can just list my suppliers over here directly. Okay, so let's come an example. We go for another supplier here. Okay, sorry, I've just clicked something and it has refreshed. So back here, let me list the supplier here, hardware world. Second supplier, let's say it is Mehrab Agencies. Okay, and then now I want to list the items which came from that request. So how will I remember if there are 50 items in that request? Currently we have only 2 items, but what if we have more than 2 items? Okay, it's very simple. You just come here and say get items from the material request. So all the pending material requests will be here. Okay, this is the one that we have just now raised it. Okay, I'll just click on it and I'll say get items. So you will see all my items will be fetched and they are here, good to go. Now if I want to send this by email, I can select the email. I can select the email template if we have. Okay, if we have an email template, we can select it here. Currently I don't have an email template, but if I select an email template, I can select it here and then I can preview it and I can send. So here if I have an email template, what will happen, it will send this request as an email to both the suppliers. Okay, and none of the suppliers will be able to see each other in that email. Okay, it's individual emails to each of the supplier, and if I enable supplier portal, it will also send a link, a hyperlink, where the supplier can directly click and fill the quotation details with the pricing. Okay, and this is very good when you have, you know, a tender, or you have really an automated system where even your suppliers, they appreciate technology and they want to eliminate paperwork. They will really use it. Okay, so here I'll save this request for quotation and I submit. Okay, now remember one thing, initially we did a material request. Okay, now because we don't have the emails here, the email setting inside the system, so I'll just remove this, send the email. So okay, I remove this, and I save and submit. Okay, so coming back to what I was explaining, you see we had a material request, fine, which was showing pending, and now we did a request for quotation. If I go back to my material request, you will find it's still showing as pending. Okay, why pending? Because material has not been ordered or received, it's still pending. So now let's say the suppliers are sending me the quotation, so we go to the supplier quotation. Okay, I'll just search. I find it easy to search than navigating through all the menu items. Okay, and now let's say I got a quotation from Hardware World, so I come here, I select the supplier Hardware World. Okay, and I come here and say just get me the items from request for quotation. You see from here. Now here, if I'm not using request for quotation and I have the material request only, and maybe I just call the supplier and I'm getting the items, the quote on a WhatsApp or on an email directly, so I can still get the items from the material request. You see how flexible the system is. Okay, so we'll get it from the I want to show you the whole cycle, so I'm going document by document. So I'm going to get it from the request for quotation here. You see, these are the 3 requests for quotations. I'll select this and my items will be loaded here, and now I'm going to enter the price. Okay, so let's say for this item, okay, let's say it's 150 or maybe 250 per piece, and for this item, whatever, one steel bar, maybe it goes for 1,500, just assuming any pricing. Okay, and good to go. We save and we submit. Now you see here it updates my buying price, because inside the system I made the system that a setting that it has to update the buying price, and that can be disabled depending on the preference of each company. Okay, I can disable it. Okay, so I'm going to save this document. Okay, so I got a supplier 1 quotation from this supplier Hardware World. Now let's say the other guy is also Mehrab Agencies has sent me his quotation. So I'll say get items from request for quotation. I'll just repeat the step again. By the way, here also I can write my the quotation number which has been given to us by the supplier. Okay, okay, let's say here the quotation number is, okay, we can write it here. And you see now, because I had the setting which I explained, that it is updating my buying price list, so that's why it's fetching it from the price list. Okay, which I can change. This is also good, it shows me what was the price I've bought or received, okay, from a supplier earlier. So let's say this is for 260, this one is for 1,550, okay, from this supplier, and I save and submit. Okay, so now I received from both the suppliers my the quotations. Okay, let's go back to the material request. Now you see the guy at the warehouse or the department is still looking at the system and is seeing this is pending, and he's really getting impatient that what's happening, why is the procuring department so slow, not supplying me with goods. Okay, but no worries, now the procurement department, they are doing their job, so they received the quotations. Okay, now as they receive the quotations, now they have to compare and take a decision. Okay, so if you go to the buying module here, we scroll down here, as I said, we have something called supplier quotation comparison. Okay, now when I click on supplier quotation comparison, okay, let's say for today, okay, I'm filtering for today. So because today, just now, we have, as we are recording this video, we have done only 2 quotations from the supplier, so showing me 2, but there may be many. Okay, and if there are many, they will show me here. So I want to compare my supplier quotations which has been originated from the request of quotation. So I can filter it from the request of quotation. See here. So if I filter here from the request for quotation, this was the one. Okay, it will show me only those which were done today. Okay, and they are linked with my request for quotation. So here all the prices are here. Okay, from Mehrab agencies we have received this price, and from Hardware World we have received this price. I can also group by item. So it will, if I group by item, see what will happen. You see, it gives me the item for which I have requested the quotation, and then over here it gives me Hardware World. This item was quoted 1,500 and Mehrab agencies 1,550, and you can see those which are highlighted in green, those are the least price. So now I can decide, fine, if I'm going for a least price, I can now go for Hardware World. Okay, so very simple. Two ways of raising an LPO. Either I go to the purchase order and I raise my LPO here. Okay, now before I raise an LPO, let me show you this LPO screen over here. Now as I go to the LPOs, it shows you all the LPOs available inside the system, and it gives you a really good tracking over here. So every LPO, it will show you the percentage billed, the percentage received. Okay, means against this LPO, did I receive all the goods or no? And against this LPO, did I post the supplier invoice or no? So here if you see now, even this customer called test, you see we have only received 50% of the goods and not full. This computer center, we have received 50% only. Okay, and we have also posted the invoice of the supplier, only 50% of it. So it really helps you to track your purchases. Okay, so I can come here and raise an LPO. Let's say I'm raising to Hardware World because it was the least. Now as I select Hardware World from here, okay, I can directly come here and say get items from supplier quotation. Okay, and I will select the quotation. You see already there are two pending quotations from supplier world, okay, from Hardware World. So I'll select this and I'll say get items. It will get me items here with the prices they have provided me, and I can raise an LPO. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Okay, now other way of doing it, I'll not save this, we'll go to the other method of doing it. So I can go to the supplier quotation. Okay, I want to raise from Hardware, I want to buy from Hardware World. So I'll come to Hardware World here. Sorry, I selected Mehrab by mistake. So I'll come here to Hardware World. Okay, and you see this button here, create. I'll click and say create for me a purchase order from this supplier quotation. So it will convert for me the whole supplier quotation into a purchase order. Okay, I can also select I need this order to be supplied to this warehouse, so I can select the warehouse. This is helpful, you know, when a company has multiple warehouses. Let's say I have a warehouse in Nairobi, in industrial area, I have maybe in town, I have in Nakuru, Mombasa, and I'm doing my procurement. So if I select the warehouse in the print layout, we can say that please, I need this, I'm raising an LPO and the supply has to be to that particular warehouse. Okay, so this is very important for this purpose. Okay, here we have two mandatory columns over here which I have to fill. It's mandatory for this company where this demo company I'm doing, but otherwise every company will have their own setup. Okay, so not necessary it should be mandatory for you. Let me save this. Okay, I submit. Now you see this purchase order, as I saved it, it shows me pending. Why pending? Because here we have written a workflow that any LPO that is raised inside the system, it needs to be approved. Okay, so this is pending, it's not yet approved. So if it's not yet approved, I cannot send it to my supplier. So let's say now my director of the company will get notified, so he will open this. I'm administrator, so I can do everything, but now the director will open it, and then the director can approve it directly from here. Okay, so you will find here now this has been approved. Now either you can send it by email if you want. Okay, here by email you can send it to the supplier, or you can print, stamp, and then send it to the supplier. Depends now how you need us to set up the workflow for you. Let me show you here one of the sample customized print layouts. Okay, okay, so this can be now sent to the supplier called hardware world directly. Okay, we can print and send. Okay, you'll find here also this has been changed to approved. Okay, now let's go and see the material request. You know, the warehouse guy or the department head is really looking at the status of his request. So now you see this pending got changed to ordered. Now he's relaxed, he knows that my material request has been ordered. So instead of picking the phone and asking and becoming impatient, the system shows you everything. Okay, and this is how you interconnect your department using one ERP solution. Okay, so now the LPO has been sent to the supplier. Now the supplier is going to supply you with the goods. So definitely the supplier is going to send you the goods. Now as you receive the goods, now the warehouse guy will go and make a purchase receipt, or what we call it, also it's known as GRN. Okay. So we come to the purchase receipt over here. Okay, so I'll go and receive. I'll add a purchase receipt here. I'll select the supplier. So I'm receiving from Hardware World. Okay, now and then I'll say get items from purchase order. Okay, because I have to receive against an order. I cannot just receive like that without an LPO. Okay, and this gives you a proper control. Okay, so I'll select Hardware World here, and I'll select this get items. So I'm receiving against this particular LPO. Everything is loaded here. Even the warehouse got loaded here because I've already mentioned it in the LPO. Okay, now this is accepted warehouse. Accepted warehouse means the warehouse where I'm going to receive my quantities, and here we have accepted quantities. Sometimes when there is a supply, what happens that you will find some quantities are damaged. Okay, but you have to receive it. Okay, and then you negotiate with your supplier. So in that case, you can put you can reduce the quantity here which are damaged, and you can input it in the rejected warehouse, and you should mention the rejected warehouse here. Why you mention the rejected warehouse? The reason is that it shows you the quantity in your finished goods which are good quantity, it has proper quality, and you are accepted it, and it's ready to sell. The ones which will go inside the rejected warehouse, now you cannot sell it. Okay, because they are rejected. Okay, so by this is a virtual warehouse where you can input your rejected quantity. Okay, so here I'm going to write the delivery note number that has been supplied, given to me by my supplier. Okay, and I'm going to submit this quantity and save. Now as I submit this quantity, okay, my warehouse, okay, will increase. So the quantity in the warehouse for those two items will increase. Okay, and there is an accounting effect into it. Okay, because as the quantity increases, also the value should increase. Now because this is a GRN or a purchase receipt, finance guys, definitely you people know that there has to be two, there has to be a debit, there has to be a credit, correct? Both sides has to affect. So I cannot affect just one side. Now and I cannot affect my supplier over here. My supplier, I cannot credit my supplier because it's just a receipt of the quantity, but I have not yet posted my bill inside the system, the supplier invoice. Okay, so here what happens, every document that has any ledger effect, whether it's a quantity, stock, or finance, Okay, you can go to this document and check the effect, which is very good. To reconcile, it's very good. So for this purchase receipt, I'll go and check my stock ledger, and it will show me here that for those two items what I have received. Okay, you see, in quantity is 500, and for the industrial gloves and for the steel bars they are 500, which I have received in my finished goods warehouse. Let me go back and we check our financials. We go to check our accounting ledger. Now in my accounting ledger, my actual stock account will be debited. Okay, and there is a balance sheet account called stock received but not billed. It will be credited. Okay, so this is, we can say, a control account or an intermediate account in which I'm posting this value, and once I post my purchase invoice, this value will be nullified. Okay, it knocks off this value. Okay, so I go back now to post my purchase invoice. Before posting the purchase invoice, let's go and check what is the status of my material request that was raised by the department head or by the warehouse guy. So if I go to the material request, it was ordered. Now you see it has been changed to received. So here now we are going to raise a purchase invoice, okay, for that supplier. So we are booking now the bill for the supplier. We have to credit the supplier. Okay, you see why this step. Sometimes you do a direct purchase invoice, and at the same time it increases stock. Even that is possible. Okay, as I said, I'm explaining the whole cycle, but now wherever the organizations are small, they don't need a GRN and then a purchase invoice. They just want the purchase invoice to also affect the stock. It's possible. Okay, over here if you see, we have one option called update stock. Okay, so if you click on update stock, or we can also have it by default checked. So what will happen, it will directly with the invoice, it will credit the supplier, and also it will add the stock into the system. Okay, but as we are explaining the whole cycle, I'm taking you through the whole cycle step by step in each document. Okay, so here we will get the items from the purchase order or from the purchase receipt. I have two options now. Okay, now sometimes what happens, the order is done for a bulk quantity and the invoice came for the bulk quantity, but I'm receiving partially. So then I cannot do my purchase invoice based on the purchase receipt, because still I'm going to receive the balance quantity. So I'll decide as a company to book it against the order. But if my company policy says no, I cannot book a purchase invoice for the whole order, I have to book it only against the goods that I have received, then I have to do it against my receipt. Okay, so both options are available in the ERPNext. So here I'm going to raise my purchase invoice against this purchase order. Okay, so it will fetch the items for me here. You will see all the items have been fetched here down. Okay, and over here I can also put the supplier invoice number which was supplied, okay, and the date. So here I save and submit. Okay, so I'll save here. Now once I save, before even submitting, okay, I'll not submit now. Before submitting, I can also scan the supplier invoice and attach it here, either PDF or image. Okay, so I have even the archiving of my physical invoices inside the system directly. So let me submit here. Okay, so once this is submitted, okay, now let's go and check our financial effect, okay, of this invoice. So we go to view, we go to accounting ledger, okay, and you will see now, you know, that control account, stock receipt but not bill, has been reversed, and now it's debited, and my creditor, who is my supplier, Hardware World, he has been credited with this amount. Okay, and if I had the VAT, currently I've just done the VAT 0, but definitely if there is VAT, then you will find even the VAT has been affected in my ledgers. Okay, so this is how now my purchase cycle completes till we make the purchase invoice. If I go to the purchase invoice again, it will show you that this invoice has not been paid, and if it is overdue, it will show you as overdue. Okay, so and then you pay, the finance department will pay the supplier, and for that we have already explained how the payments are done inside ERPNext. It's there in our video for the financial management. Okay, now if you see, this is an end-to-end process from the beginning of having a material request till you receive the goods and you post an invoice of the supplier. Okay, definitely things doesn't go always smooth in a business. You will have some returns, you are returning to your suppliers, some exchange of credit notes happening with your suppliers. Again, the system allows you to do it. Example, if you have a credit note, something went wrong, or maybe it was overvalued and you want to raise a credit, the supplier gave you the credit note, so you can come to this invoice, and from this invoice you have to tag it with an invoice, and you create something called a credit note from here. Let me show you. Okay, so from here now there is a return, so we will create a return here. Okay, you see, and this return is basically referencing against this invoice. Okay, and then you can select at which value have you got this note, the credit note from the supplier. And you can select the value here. Okay, if you want the value and the goods also to affect, then also you can affect by updating the stock, the accepted value, the quantity which you are returning against the value. Okay, so both scenarios are possible, either stock with value, or maybe only the stock and the value remains intact, or you are not returning the stock and only there is a difference in the value. Both scenarios are possible in the system. Okay, and we guide you on how to use it properly. Okay, so this is now the procurement. Now this is a local procurement, what we explained. Now what if there is an import? Okay, so if there is an import, first let me take you back to the purchase order, and we'll show you what we have done in Aqiq solutions in order to capture proper imports and also increase efficiency in imports. Let me take an existing LPO here. So here in the LPO, what we have done, down here we have added some importation tasks. Okay, let me take a new LPO. Better to take a new LPO and explain it. See, here we have purchase order tasks. Okay, why we have added these tasks? To help you manage your imports and track each and every task related to that shipment or the import. Okay, so first of all you have to create something called the shipment number. Okay, for this shipment. Now this shipment number this is also something that we have developed. Okay, this shipment number is really good when you have a shipment, you tag it, you open a shipment number, you tag it, so your purchase order, your receipts and the invoice are tagged with a common shipment number. Okay, how it helps? Now when you import, you have many other expenses that you are paying. You have duty, you have IDF, you have VAT, you have you are paying for the cargo, you are paying for offloading. Okay, many other insurance, so you are paying many other expenses. So all those expenses which you are paying against that shipment, you will tag it with the shipment number. Okay, so as you tag it with the shipment number, it becomes very easy to create a landed cost for your item. Okay, landed cost is very crucial. Okay, now since the ERPNext already have something called landed cost, but we have enhanced it a bit. okay, by creating the shipment number, because I'll show you the landed cost and how it's beneficial. Okay, so before going to the landed cost, I'm finishing this. So you can here have the tasks, different tasks. Okay. So here you will have, we have created many tasks. Again, these are all tasks that can be customized, and we can create a list of tasks. Okay, so let's say a bill of lading has to be done. So you give it an estimated date by when you have to finish the bill of lading, or you receive the bill of lading. Okay, so let's say I want to finish it by 8th. It has to be finished by 8th. Okay, and here you can assign this to a user in ERP. Okay, you have to assign it to somebody over here. So you can assign it here, and the user who is using the system can be assigned this task. Okay, you can assign the task here, and if there are any attachment also you can attach. Okay, so once, let's say I'm assigning it to Elvis. Okay, I can put some remarks if I want. Okay, for Elvis, and I save this. So what will happen, this will directly, this task, first of all the user Elvis will be notified that he has a task, and it will be added to the calendar. So now he has to act upon it, and then he has to come here and update. The purchase order have been saved and submitted. Only this section can be edited by the users, which are the tasks. The other sections cannot be edited because it's an LPO raised to the supplier. Okay, so here you can have multiple tasks, and you can track the tasks correctly and efficiently, so that you ensure you're not missing any of the deadlines. Now, coming to the landed cost. So here you will have many purchase invoices, okay, that has been posted related to that shipment number. So you have the supplier invoice first, then you will have the cargo, you will have the offloading, you will have IDF, you will have transportation, you will have duty. All those, now when you post, you have to tag it with a common shipment number, so that when you come to the landed cost voucher over here, okay, when you create a landed cost voucher, now you see when you create, what happened in the default features of ERPNext, the shipment number was not there. So what was happening, that I have to go and select the document from here. So I have to remember which document first of all, okay, and then I have to also remember the, over here, all the expenses that were paid for that particular shipment. But here no, what we did, we are tagging everything with the shipment number. This is a development that Aqiq solution has done, so that it can really help and minimize time and increase efficiency. So if I just select the shipment number, you see it goes and fetches immediately for me the purchase invoice or the purchase receipt. I can get the items from here. It will get me the items from this purchase receipt over here, and already those purchase invoices that I've done, the duty and everything, you see the freight and forwarding, it has fetched over here. Okay, so I have $25,000 over here of the goods. I have 260,000. You see this is the amount, 3 million. So on the 3 million already I've paid freight and forwarding charges 260,000. Okay, and how do I want to distribute this cost on my item? Now because it's one item, whether it's quantity and amount, it's one, but sometimes I have multiple items coming in one cargo. Okay, definitely I'm having a container or 2 containers, it will have multiple items. So now I have to decide whether I'm distributing the freight and forwarding and transportation, all other charges based on quantity, amount, or I'm going to apportion it manually. Okay, so if I say by quantity, I save here, or by amount, because it's one item, it won't make a difference over here. Okay, so there is some mandatory field over here required as description. You can write anything here as description. I save. Now over here you see, once I save, it updates the landed cost of my item. Okay, the question comes here. Okay, what if I received some goods and I want to sell it, and the other suppliers have not given me the invoices. Okay, so as a businessman, once I receive the goods, I am in hurry to sell it because that's the source of my revenue. So the answer is yes, you just go ahead and sell it. Now when I'm selling it, it will sell for you at the minimum cost. Minimum cost means the supplier invoice. Let's say an item, I bought it for 1,000 shillings. So when you are selling, the cost of the item is 1,000 shillings. Okay, but it's actually not 1,000 because there are still some other costs like freight and transportation and other costs for which you still haven't received the invoices from the other supplier. So you are not able to make a landed cost voucher. So let's say you started selling for 5-6 days and then you got the other invoices and then you are making the landed cost voucher. So as you make the landed cost voucher after 6 days and you have already sold, 6 days is just an example, even could be months. Okay, what will happen? ERPNext goes reversely and corrects for you the cost of the item. Okay, so for the first 6 or 7 days when you are selling without the landed cost voucher, what will happen? Your profit will be elevated a bit. Okay, but as you post your landed cost, you will find it reversely calculates and adjusts your landed cost for the item and the cost of goods sold. So by this, actually it helps you to eliminate any manual work or journal vouchers to go and adjust your cost. The system does it manually, automatically. Okay, so this is how now we have explained the end-to-end on how to use the buying module. Okay, we are actually, this is not a training module, it's just we are showing how the system can help any organization if they use ERPNext, what are the features there. Okay, here we have a lot of reports. Okay, like example, we have this purchase analysis analytics. It's a very good report over here. If you see, it gives you an analysis of your purchases and you can slice and dice and choose different options here to get the result. Okay, so we have taken from 1st of Jan 2025 to 31st, so we have only one record. But if I take it from 2024, okay, it might have some more transactions. It will show me all the transactions starting from 2024 here. Okay, so let's say I said I want all my purchases based on suppliers. Okay, show me the purchase invoices of the suppliers and show me the value and show it to me month-wise. Okay, so it's showing you month-wise. Now if I say no, I want to see yearly, you can also see it yearly or monthly or weekly. So if I say yearly, definitely it will show me both the years 2024 and 2025. So it will show you 2024, these are the values. Okay, and I can compare. You see, if I click Mihrab, I click Hardware World example, it will show you a proper comparison on the chart here. You see the chart keeps on changing here. Okay, so it shows you both the suppliers and how the trend from each supplier. Okay, if I don't want based on purchase invoice, I want based on purchase order, even I can change it from here. I don't want value, I want to see only quantities, I can see quantities here. Okay, now here we have selected supplier. Okay, fine, I don't need supplier, I want to see items, purchase of my items. So I can also select items. It will immediately change for me the items based on the purchase invoice and the quantities, you see. Okay, so this is how now you have the reporting. And definitely we at Aqiq Solutions, we don't have limits for reporting. Any reports the management thinks of, it's beneficial, it's part of the system, we show them. If it is not, we go and we custom make the reports for them. We've also, by the way, integrated the system with something called Metabase. It's a BI tool. Okay, and it really gives you a good graphical view of the reports and sends also daily emailing to the directors. It can also send the graphs directly to the directors inbox, which really helps. So yeah, this is now the buying module. And if you want to know more about ERPNext and how we go about to implement for you, just reach us out. You will find all our contact down in the description. Okay, you can reach us out, and definitely one of our consultants which will contact you, and definitely you will never go wrong with us, with Aqiq Solutions. Have a nice day, and you can also watch the other videos that we have published regarding ERP Next.